Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another episode of Hardcore Minecraft. I have just done a little bit of farming and now I have a couple of carrots and some wheat just to trade with my villagers. Hello Wayne. Wayne does not actually have any of those traits. I wonder, Martha, do you? Yeah, Martha does actually have some carrots, so I will trade her those. Thank you. And one of these other villagers will have wheat. Yes. Okay, perfect. There we go. Lovely doing business. I do also think there might be some pumpkins and melons down here ready to be grabbed. Yeah, look at all this. We can just take all of that up to our villagers and we're gonna be absolutely rich. Setting up this farm so early on has helped so much getting all these emeralds. All I have to do to get super rich is just trade them with these villagers, which is really not a lot of work. And it gives me so many levels, which has been super useful as well. There you go. My last few pumpkins are traded up as well. I'll eventually just have to make an entire extra chest just for all these emeralds. I mean, look at this. Now, there's another thing that I would really like to do today, which actually has everything to do with our XP farm, which I have not been using quite that much. I mean, I kind of built it and I ended up getting most of my XP just from trading with the villagers like I just did, but I feel like that is kind of a missed opportunity seeing as it is really close to my base. The thing that has been keeping me from using that XP farm is actually the incredibly tedious ladder that I have to climb up and down every time I go down there, which is very annoying and boring and it takes way too long. So I think we should upgrade that maybe to some sort of like bubble elevator. I think that would work a little bit better. I also can't really find it. I mean, look at this. It's so far down. So I think that I will instead just take the coordinates of this, which is a minus 2,400 and 952, like that. And I will actually just make a tunnel, probably from over in that gatehouse, just over there. And then I'll make a bubble column down. I think that would make quite a lot of sense. Now, let me first just take a little nap, because we do not want zombies spawning. There we go, perfect. Okay, so I was planning just to have a little bit of a staircase down from this building. I'm not quite sure where though. Maybe I can just extend this ladder down. Oh, it appears we have fallen into the back rooms of my terrain. It's fine. Hold up, let me just get some blocks so that I can actually... Okay, I had completely forgotten that I had fixed this like so. That's kind of awkward, but I can actually just dig down now, so that's fine. Okay, so this ladder takes you down into here, and then all I have to do is just connect this up to the ladder over by the farm. Should be pretty easy, I just have to make sure that I follow the coordinates. Yeah, this is the right coordinates, so now all I have to do is just dig a really long tunnel this way. Or, I guess not that long. Pretty sure it's only like 70 blocks or so. Should be no problem. Yeah, perfect. Right here. Now all I have to do is just widen this tunnel. So I'll just dig both sides out. It'll probably be about 3 wide. This should get me quite a bit of stone, which is always useful. And also just get me like a really straight, easy connection up to this without actually having to make a building up here. Because... oh, I didn't really want a building over here. I think it would just kind of take away from the castle. I think this will work a little bit nicer. Now, what to do about those guys? I think I'll just shoot them. There we go. Perfect. Now just this one. There we go. Oh, there's actually quite a few more. Oh my gosh. Those guys kind of scared me. I'm sure it's fine. Ooh. Actually, some of them dropped a crossbow. That's interesting. We can maybe enchant these and then we'll have a pretty cool weapon for ourselves, which is very fun. I quite like that. Yeah, so all I have to do is just dig this out. There's still my previous staircase over here. We'll just block that off and I'll just get digging right over here. Yes, perfect. Now I have a pretty much straight connection from my gatehouse over there all the way over to my XP farm, which is pretty great, I think. Now all we have to do is just get some supplies together just for a bubble column. I think that would be the pretty much easiest way up. That should work pretty well, I think. I'll just need a bunch of kelp, maybe a little bit more than that even. A block of soul sand, and just water, I think. Alright, look at this. I've put in both the bubble column and the drop, which is very scary. I don't like this. That scares me. Yeah. I've also put in the bubble elevator. That should be able to take me up. I've put in this iron door as well, which will act as some sort of access points to the mine shaft, so that I can actually go in here and maybe farm up some string or spider eyes once we need them, just so I can actually still get to the spider spawners, which is kind of useful, I think. It's iron because I actually don't want mobs in here. I sometimes AFK over here, wait for the zombies to spawn, and I don't want to be attacked while I'm doing that. Seeing as I don't actually know if I've lit up the entire mineshaft properly, this should work a little bit better. And hopefully keep the mobs out. As you can see, the bubble column works as well. It takes you all the way up here, just like that. Perfect. And now everything's nicely connected up. I like it. With that all fixed up, I'd say it's time to turn our attention back to arguably more important matters. As you can see, I have worked a little bit over here on marking in some roads, and I'd say I would just get those in right now. I think I'm just going to repeat the pattern that we've used all throughout the village so far, with the andesite on the edges, and then some tuff, gravel, and mossy cobble in the middle. I think that looks kind of good. This will shape up the entire area and get me a really good idea of where all the buildings can be. So far I've had very little idea of where those have to go, but if I get the roads in place then I can kind of see how the entire village is gonna flow. So I'd say that's pretty important. Now, over here I've marked in this little cross, and I would actually like to make this into another sort of town square like we have over there, and maybe that won't be where the villagers will gather because the bell is over there obviously, but this might have just like a lamppost or a little well, something like that would make a lot of sense, I think. I hope. I just have to decide how large exactly I want this to be. I'm thinking this might be a pretty good size, that way you can kind of walk around. I think this makes quite a lot of sense. I'm also once again just gonna put a bit of greenery on the edges here, just to make it a little bit nicer. I don't actually have enough leaves once again. I'm not sure if I like how similar it is to that platform we have over there, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Now all I have to do is just change out all of this dirt for a proper road, and that shouldn't be too difficult at all. I'm once again just gonna put some chiseled stone bricks in the middle, and just a mixture of mossy cobble, some gravel, and some tuff. Yeah, I definitely really like this. I think it looks great. Now, this road obviously leads to another problem, which is that this gate now is not actually in the correct location anymore, which is kind of awkward, but I'm sure it's something we can fix. So the actual middle point has to be right here, which is just a few blocks over. I'm just gonna take this wall down temporarily. Just don't go anywhere, okay? We can just put back in these towers, obviously, and we can just continue the wall on this side, and that should then also connect up to another tower over here. Okay, so I actually ended up moving the gatehouse twice because I had it in a completely wrong location first, but I do think it's in the right spot now, so that's good. With this, I've also extended this space we have on this side, so the wall kind of comes out a little bit further. We'll obviously have to connect it up to that tower eventually. We'll figure it out somehow. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that, but I'm sure it's fine. We have a little bit more space over there, which is great because now there's actually enough room for another building over here. And this wall will obviously come in a little bit, which is also fine because I really didn't know what to do with this awkward space behind the library. It didn't make a whole lot of sense, but now we'll just be able to put the wall over here and then that should not be an issue anymore. So I definitely think this is an improvement from the last version we had of this gate. This will of course not stay like this. I'll have to make some sort of redstone gate similar to the one we have over there, just a little bit smaller and obviously on a diagonal, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. But yeah, I quite like this gate. Now, I've just noticed that I actually have quite a lot of levels, so I think it's about time we head back into the library and see if we can get a better enchantment on our sword, because this still needs probably some unbreaking, and fire aspect would be good, I think. I think knockback's good, but it's also kind of annoying once you start fighting any ranged mobs, so I'm not really sure on that one. I also don't really like Sweeping Edge because it's kind of dangerous if you're in like the nether and there's the zombie pigmen. You hit one, they can all get mad at you. That actually has happened to me before in Hardcore Minecraft, which was not great. I was not a big fan of that. So I'm just gonna create a brand new sword right here, just with some diamonds, and try and enchant that one. I'm sure we can get something. Also, if we can't get Unbreaking on the enchanting table, then we just have to buy a book, because I do actually have a villager that sells Unbreaking. Yeah, this one, just for about half a stack of emeralds, which is quite a lot, but it's not that much. It's fine. I am noticing that only Smite is coming up, which I'm not a big fan of, so I'm just gonna try and reroll just for the book and see if we can get anything better. Ooh, Unbreaking. That's actually pretty good. This actually has efficiency, which I did actually still need for my axe. Because if I have another efficiency 4 axe, then I can combine these and repair it a bit. And also get efficiency 5, which I quite like. So I think I'm just gonna go with the axe for this one, even though the sword is saying Unbreaking. Like I said, we can just buy a book. Silk Touch and efficiency. We didn't need Silk Touch, but that's still fine. Next up is looting, which I already have. That's okay. I'll just take the enchant off of this book, and then I can just combine these two axes in the anvil, just like that. It costs quite a few levels, but I'm sure it's worth it. Look at that. It's almost repaired now, which is great, because that means I can use it for a little bit longer, and I don't actually have to get mending quite yet. Alright, with my axe all fixed up and the gatehouse in place, we can actually get started on the wall, which is great because that'll allow me to get a proper idea of how this entire village is gonna look. Right now this wall is really low and not super secure, so I would actually like to upgrade it because I am planning to have this village be raided by a high level raid eventually. I think that would be a really good goal to work towards, aside from like the Ender Dragon and stuff like that. I just feel like it would be so fun to build up this entire castle and make it super secure and have like traps in places, and then have it raided so I can actually test it out and use it in battle. I think that would be really, really cool. So I think it's definitely important we get this wall in place, and I would actually like to make it too thick. So there's gonna be one outer wall right here, and an inner wall on the other side. This way you can kind of walk along in this corridor in the middle, which I think would be really good. You can kind of shoot out arrows from there or activate traps in the wall. I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna mark this wall out. It's just gonna go in a straight line, a little bit behind the old wall, and I think the majority of the wall is going to be made out of stone and stone bricks, which might not be the best idea seeing as we already have so much stone and stone bricks going on, but I'm sure we'll figure it out and it'll look pretty good in the end. I'm hoping, at least. I'm also hoping that these iron golems actually just get out of my way for once, because this is kind of annoying. I also definitely don't have enough stone for this. We'll have to go mining for some more soon, but we can at least get the shape of it marked out. With this wall we can also get like crenulations on top of it, which aside from just looking pretty will also keep spiders out. I've not really had any problems with spiders, but that's probably because I've actually stayed awake no nights so far, so I really haven't been able to test the wall. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good shape for the wall. I really like it. It's really boring, obviously, right now, but once we get all the details in, it won't look so grey, and it'll obviously also be blocked by lots and lots of buildings, so it shouldn't really be an issue in the end. It also probably has to be a little bit taller, probably 3 or 4 blocks taller than it is right now, but this at least gets in the general idea for the wall. Now the only thing I really have to do is just remove this old wall, and that shouldn't really be a problem. This will also allow me to get lots and lots of building materials back. This cobblestone can be used elsewhere, but for the wall it's probably not the best call, seeing as it is kind of a messy texture, which I definitely like in places, but not in such a big grey blob. I don't think that really works. But yeah, I think this looks so much cleaner, and it's just It works a lot better for what I want the entire build to look like in the end. Oh, hello! Look at that, it's a wandering trader. He, once again, does not actually sell anything interesting, but that's fine. I still think it's pretty cool, it's just hanging out here with all the villagers. Really makes the place feel alive. Now, seeing as I am completely out of stone again, I think it is about time for another mining trip. Just to get my stone reserves back up so that I can actually continue building on this castle. This is definitely also the reason I decided to enchant another silk touch pickaxe, because I don't actually have mending yet, so I didn't really have the opportunity to mend up the other one I had. So this will allow me to get more stone even though I don't actually have mending yet. You know what? I will actually go in strip mines on this side this time. I think that'll change it up nicely. So the way I do this is I kind of just go in one strip until I get bored and then I turn around. This will allow me to get lots and lots of stone. Also dig into these caverns, which often contain lots and lots of iron, which is also very useful. I am just gonna block it off, seeing as I don't actually need iron at the moment. I find strip mining like this is just really relaxing. I quite like to break up my gameplay just with this sort of more grindy stuff in the middle. I think it's really fun. I really hope you guys have been enjoying this series. I know I certainly have. If you guys have any ideas for like building ideas or ideas for traps around the base, please do let me know, because any input is very much appreciated. I think it will just be really fun to have other people's building or trap ideas or name ideas for any mobs just around my world. I think that would just be super fun. Now, what is up here? Some dripstone and lots of gravel. Possibly also a creeper. Oh, actually there is no creeper and I've already been here. So this cave really probably is not worth my time exploring. That's okay though, I can just continue going this way then. I'm not really looking to go caving right now. I don't need any ores. Oh, and a water cave. That's interesting. And probably my cue to leave. Or turn around at least. I don't really like water caves, they're really annoying. I think it's probably for the best if we just turn around. Oh, just not over here. I seem to have dug into my staircase. That was not my intention. I shall just block this up. That's okay. We'll just go over here then. Oh, that is a pretty big cave with a lot of creepers. I need stone, not creepers blowing me up. This might once again be my points where I turn around. That's okay, sometimes you go really long in one strip and sometimes you just kind of hit a roadblock. It's probably also about nighttime, I think. Let me just check. Oh yeah, I was just in time as well. I'm pretty sure it was just evening. The reason I'm sleeping every night, by the way, is just because my gate and my wall are not very secure. I'm also not entirely sure if I actually lit up the village enough. It's probably a little bit wimpy of me to never let it turn night, but it's just, I don't really want to deal with that. It'll be dark, I can't see, I'll be constantly attacked by annoying mobs. It's just better for everyone if I sleep. I mean, this is hardcore, why take the risk? Okay, I've hit the water cave again. That's fine though, my inventory was really full. And I'm almost out of torches, so I guess it's probably about time I go up anyway. I'm only going up to drop off my stuff, by the way. I'm pretty sure I don't actually have enough stone yet, so I do still have to go mining. We'll just put away all of this, make myself some extra torches, and then we're probably good to go back into the mine. This minecart will truly never get old. It's probably for the best if I get a little bit extra stone, a bit more than I actually need, so that I don't actually have to go back into the mine the second I want to continue building. Hello? I'm sorry. Okay, this is a really weird cave. You know, I really kind of miss the old caves. Like, in some aspects, I like that the caves are really big and complicated now, but, I mean, the other caves were just so much cozier. It doesn't really feel the same anymore. I think that's kind of sad, but maybe I'm just blinded by nostalgia, you know? That's totally possible. I mean, in general, I kind of think that Minecraft was at its peak in 1.17. I really do like all the new block choices we got, but there's just something about all the old terrain, the old caves. Like, sure, it's better. but it's also worse in a way. And whenever I play nowadays, it just doesn't quite feel the same. It could definitely also be because I'm getting old. I'll leave that up for interpretation, okay? Oh my goodness. I almost fell down there. Oops. That would have been bad, probably. Now, my inventory is once again pretty full, so I guess it is time to end this mining trip. I probably have enough stone by now. You know, I should probably work on setting up some sort of item takeaway system right over here. I'm sure we'll do that in an episode someday soon. It would be really, really nice just to not have to go back up to the surface every single time my inventory is full. I can just drop off my stuff in some minecart down there and then it'll be automatically taken up to the surface. But for now it is just manual trips up and down, which is fine too because that means I get to see my lovely villagers again, who I definitely did not miss. Yes, that'll definitely be enough stone. I'm just gonna start by raising this tower by a couple of blocks just so it's actually still taller than the wall. And then we can also just raise the wall itself. Maybe by 3 blocks? Yeah, I think that'll be a good height. This does link up to my house kind of awkwardly, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. It's fine. Okay, yeah. This should do the trick for the height, I think. This terrain out here is kind of really super messy. We might have to do something about that eventually, but for now it's fine. Now, I think this whole wall would just look a little bit better if it had some details, so I'm just gonna do that in the form of some pillars going up against the wall about every 3 blocks, I think. Would look pretty good, just like that. This will give everything a little bit of an overhang, which will add shadow to the wall, which would be pretty good, I think, seeing as it is kind of just a flat grey surface. Also, just a little bit of depth never hurt anybody, so yeah, I think this is definitely the move. I am breaking my ankles every single pillar, but that's also okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It might be a little bit too tall. I'm not sure. I might raise the terrain out here just by 1 block. Let me just see how this looks on the inside, because I really don't want this wall to be too tall because that'll just add a really big grey blob. Yes, I do think this might be too tall. I'll just drop it down by 1 block. I'm sure that's fine. Just gonna take off 1 layer. I'm also just gonna add in some stairs here on the side, just to give it a little bit of extra detail, and that way I can also push it out another block just to give it even more depth. I think that's a pretty good plan. And then we can just put back in this upper beam, and we can push the crenellations out by another block just like this. Now we're just gonna add acacia logs all the way along just for a little color change, because I think this color really matches the stone and the stone brick really well, so I think this will make for a good pop of a little bit of a darker grey. This is not going to show too much because, as you can see, I'm placing some slabs in front of it, but it will add a little bit extra texture into this wall, which in my opinion it could definitely use. And along the top here we're just going to alternate some slabs and some full blocks. This is a pretty simple wall design, but I do think it looks pretty good. Yeah, look at that. This is exactly what I wanted. It's pretty simple, but it really drives home that castle aesthetic. I really like it. I think maybe with some windows in places and some extra details, this could look really, really good. Okay, so I've added in some windows out of those iron bars and a little trim along the bottom from the polished andesite blocks, and I really think I like this. I've also pushed back the terrain a bit just so I can get a proper view of the wall. I would also kind of like to add some greenery to this because right now it's all just really grey and I really don't like that, so instead of smothering everything in leaves like I usually do, I thought it would be nice to just use some of these sweet berries just like as a border. Right here along the bottom, I think that would look really good. This will also have a second purpose as some sort of defense. That way mobs really can't walk up to here. That way the mobs won't walk all the way up to the wall and I can kind of get them a little bit easier. Oh, I don't quite have enough right now, but I'm sure these will grow very, very quickly and I can actually finish the road. Yeah, I definitely really like this wall design. I think it adds so much to this entire castle. This is really starting to get the vibe that I want across and I really like that. On the inside here, by the way, I've kept the design a lot simpler because this is really just going to act as some sort of backdrop for the buildings that are going to be over here. Whereas on the other side, it's actually the only thing you'll be able to see. I really didn't want this to draw attention from than the buildings themselves, and I think this works quite well. Right now, the only way to get up on this wall is actually by walking all the way through here, along this wall by my house, and up to this staircase. From up here, I'll really be able to view all the land and fight my enemies from a safe distance, and I really like that. I think this will work very nicely. Okay, I've just had a wonderful idea regarding some traps for that wall, but for this we are gonna need some emeralds, hold up. And we're gonna need to trade with our Fletcher. Hello! I'm just gonna need some of your finest bows, okay? You know what, I'll actually just buy enough to upgrade this guy. Oh, actually I won't. He's all out. And with these bows, we're just gonna make a whole bunch of dispensers, for which we need lots and lots of cobblestone and some redstone. Okay, I've accidentally crafted a whole bunch of droppers instead. We'll just put these in here for some other time. I'm also gonna need a whole bunch of this redstone dust and some repeaters. This might not be quite enough. I'm sure it's fine. As you can see right here, under my crenulations, there's kind of this spot where mobs can hide without walking into the berry bushes and without being in shooting range, which is not great. So I would actually like to combat this just by putting in some of these dispensers into the wall right there. That way I can kind of shoot harmful potions down, or maybe arrows or something like that, and actually kill my enemies that are hiding under the wall. I won't lie, this also kind of fits in with the design of the whole thing, so I guess it's kind of perfect. And I crafted just enough. Perfect. Okay, now I don't think I have quite enough repeaters for this, but we can at least get a start going. I'm just gonna make my way into the wall right here. Okay, so we are gonna have to slightly alter the design of the whole wall. This whole walkway right here actually has to be on this level for this to work. So we're just gonna need a block behind every dispenser and then a repeater in front of it with some redstone dust connecting it all, just like that. And then when I push the button over here, all the dispensers should fire in a line just like that. Perfect. As you can see, I don't actually have enough repeaters, but this should at least work up to this point. We can always get the rest in later. For now though, let me just quickly rethink this side of the wall. Okay, so now when you press this button, all the dispensers trigger. We'll have to move this eventually, maybe to a location that's a little bit more logical. Probably just a little room in one of these towers, but I think this is definitely a good start. Anyways guys, I do believe that that is all the time that I have for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye everyone!